Reason I'm stopping is you got no plate on your truck here.
Yeah, exactly. They don't.
Why not?
I'm traveling.
You're traveling?
Yes, sir.
You got a driver's license?
Don't need it.
Okay, where's your driver's license, boss?
That's for it. No, I don't need my window down.
I'm sorry. So, do you have a driver's license?
Yeah, right there.
Okay, what's your name, boss? I don't see your name on here. Can you point it to me?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not how this works.
The reason I stopped you is you have fictitious plates on your vehicle.
What do you mean by fictitious?
You don't have a valid license plate on your vehicle out of any state, sir.
Correct.
You've seen the videos. You've heard the claims. A driver confidently tells a police officer that they're a sovereign citizen, somehow exempt from the very laws that the officer is trying to enforce. The arguments are confusing, delivered with absolute certainty, and always, always bold. But what happens after the camera cuts off? What happens when these arguments, born on the internet and in fringe groups, are finally put to the test in a real court of law? Hi, I'm criminal defense attorney J. Scott Smith, and I've seen this exact so-called defense attempted here in North Carolina dozens of times over the almost 2 decades that I've practiced law here. Today, we're following the journey of a sovereign citizen from a routine traffic stop all the way to the judge's final verdict. We're going to break down the exact laws and unwavering legal precedents that guarantee these defenses will fail every single time. Our story starts out on a country road where a man, we'll call him John, is pulled over for a broken taillight and erratic driving. The officer asks for his license, his registration, and his proof of insurance. John refuses. He calmly says, "I'm not driving, officer. I'm traveling."
Especially considering that I've not been driving. You're driving. That's doing business economics. The definitions of the words that we use, must all agree on.
I'm not even going to get in that. You driving a car. You operating a motor vehicle.
I'm traveling.
This is my private conveyance, not a commercial motor vehicle, and I do not consent to this interaction.
You look up the definition of the word driving in a legal dictionary, it says to do business or commerce.
What you're arguing right now, I have taken to court and beat probably 10 times because you're not the first person that says we're traveling. That's a sovereign citizen type talk.
Right here is the classic sovereign citizen argument. Their theory is that a driver is someone in a commercial business, so they're the ones that need to be regulated. A traveler, on the other hand, they claim, is just exercising his constitutional right to move freely and shouldn't be burdened by things like license or registration. It sounds kind of intriguing, right? But here's why it falls apart instantly. Let's be clear. Courts have shot this argument down for decades. The constitutional right to travel is about your ability to move between states without being blocked or discriminated against. It does not grant you the right to use public roads however you want. States have a fundamental, long-established power to keep their roads safe. That includes setting standards for cars, requiring insurance to protect other people, and making sure that operators are competent by issuing licenses. When you're operating a 2-ton machine on a road paid for by taxpayers, you're subject to the laws of that place. As one court put it plainly, regardless of an individual's claimed status, that person is not beyond the jurisdiction of the courts. Back on the roadside, the officers heard all this before. John's refusal to identify himself or hand his documents leaves the officer no choice. He's arrested, and his private conveyance gets towed.
Hey, somebody will travel this thing to the tow yard.
John's journey into the legal system's just begun, and he's already made things way worse for himself. So John's in a courtroom now, facing charges. He's decided to represent himself, convinced that a public defender is just another agent of an illegitimate corporate government. The judge calls the case, the People versus John Jones. John stands up and declares, "I am not John Jones. I am John of the family Jones, a living soul."
This is the city of Detroit versus Jamil Amir Lockhart. Transfer the record, please.
Yes, so I am Jamil of the family Lockhart. The motions that I filed and the documents that I have filed have all been trying to ascertain the jurisdiction of this court.
I'm here by special appearance to represent the strawman corporate fiction you were attempting to prosecute.
Okay, so first of all, based on just this warrant, my name is spelled in capital letters. It's in reverse. From my understanding of law, that's the name of a strawman or a corporation. So that does not apply to me because it says the accused is capitalized. That's a corporation, and a strawman, which has no bearing to me. And in this matter, I do not give consent or agree to represent my strawman in this case because I'm a sovereign being. I'm an internationally protected person.
He's using the strawman theory, which is the absolute cornerstone of sovereign ideology. The belief is that when you're born, the government uses your birth certificate to create a secret corporate identity, the strawman. This is the entity that has debts, pays taxes, and is subject to laws. The strawman is identified by your name written in all caps, just like on a driver's license. They believe their flesh and blood self is separate and only has to answer to common law, not the statutes that govern the strawman. This is, to put mildly, legal nonsense. No court in the United States has ever recognized the strawman theory as valid. It's a pseudo-legal conspiracy theory with zero basis in reality. The Uniform Commercial Code, or UCC, which is what they love to cite, governs business deals, not a court's basic jurisdiction over a person within its borders. The judge, just like the cop, has seen this performance countless times. She patiently explains, "Sir, you are John Jones. This court has jurisdiction over all persons within this county. Your theories about a straw man have no legal merit and are not recognized by any court." But John doesn't back down. He escalates. "I do not consent to these proceedings. You have no jurisdiction over me."
Dismiss the case for lack of jurisdiction is denied. 1, you live in Taylor. 2, you allegedly committed a crime in Taylor. 3, the complaint was filed here in Taylor and was sworn to here in Taylor. So under that Constitution, you have availed yourself of the jurisdiction. You live in Taylor. You enjoy all the protections of the police department, the fire department, garbage services, you name it. You have more than adequate minimum contacts with the jurisdiction, and I find that your motion has no merit. It is denied.
Well, I object to that. As my argument, Article 3, Section 2 of the U.S. Constitution, that's totally irrelevant to when a state's a party. This court doesn't have original jurisdiction. Only the U.S. Supreme Court has original jurisdiction on Article 3, Section 2. And Article 3, Section 2 doesn't allow them as a reason to deny or to say that you do have jurisdiction. They don't allow it.
Sure, Article 3, Section 2. Again, your motion is denied. Article 3, Section 2 of the United States Constitution deals with one state sues another state. And that's like trash cases like New York versus New Jersey, things like that. But they have original jurisdiction over those cases. And so living man, living trust, living Stu, whatever you want to call yourself, Guy, Big E, little G, I don't know, whatever, all that good stuff, Big M. None of that makes any sense, nor does it make any difference legally. The fact that I have little yellow tassels around the flag over here, that doesn't change anything either.
This is another classic tactic, and it's just as useless. Jurisdiction isn't something you can opt out of. If you're physically within a court's territory and are accused of breaking a law there, the court has jurisdiction. That's built into the very structure of our government. If you live in this country, you are subject to its laws. The judge's patience is wearing thin. She warns John that his refusal to participate and his bizarre arguments are bordering on contempt of court. These tactics are sometimes called paper terrorism, and they only manage to annoy the judge and clog up the system. He isn't exposing some secret crack in the system, he's just digging his own hole deeper. So where do these ideas even come from? Sovereign citizen beliefs are a weird patchwork of misinterpreted legal documents, old grievances, and conspiracy theories that have been evolving for over 50 years. Let's break down the biggest mistakes. First, the 14th Amendment. Sovereigns believe that the 14th Amendment, which granted citizenship after the Civil War, created a lesser federal citizen that was subject to government control. They think that they can opt out and go back to being an original state citizen. This is a massive misreading of history and law. The 14th Amendment was designed to guarantee equal protection for everybody. As one court put it, it was never intended to be destructive of social order. Courts have always held that it creates a single uniform standard of citizenship, making everyone subject to both state and federal laws. Second, there's this fantasy of common law courts. Some sovereigns think that they only have to answer to common law, which they imagine is some pure form of justice from before the current government. They even set up their own fake courts and grand juries, sometimes issuing bogus arrest warrants for judges and police chiefs. These groups have absolutely no legal authority and are completely ignored by the actual justice system. And finally, there's the belief in magic phrases and paperwork. Online gurus often sell expensive packages of documents they claim will make someone immune to the law. They believe that saying specific phrases like, "I do not consent," or writing their name in red ink will force a judge to dismiss their case. As one legal analyst bluntly stated, To a trained lawyer, these documents are gibberish. There are no magic words that can get you out of legal trouble. There is no secret loophole. If these arguments fail so spectacularly every single time, why do so many people cling to them? The answer usually isn't about a mental illness. In fact, courts almost always find sovereign citizens competent to stand trial. The appeal is mostly psychological. The ideology gives a sense of power and control to people who feel powerless, often after a major life crisis like losing a house, a nasty divorce, or getting fired. The movement saw huge surges in interest after the 2008 financial crisis and during the COVID-19 pandemic, times of great stress and uncertainty. Members of this group have unknowingly joined a cult. Why do I say this? Because cults recruit members by promising some type of secret or insider knowledge that most folks aren't privy to. This ideology reframes personal hardship. Suddenly your debt isn't your fault. It's the fault of a crooked government that tricked you. Your trouble following the rules isn't a personal failing, it's a heroic stand against tyranny. It provides simple answers to very complex problems. And maybe most importantly, it provides a community. Through online forums and YouTube, isolated people find others who validate their feelings and give them a shared purpose. And here's the crazy part. When their theories fail in court, it doesn't break their belief, it reinforces it. The loss isn't seen as proof the theory is wrong, but as proof that the conspiracy is real and the judge is in on it. This creates a dangerous feedback loop where every failure just deepens their commitment to the ideology. Back in the courtroom, the verdict is in. John's found guilty on all counts, surprisingly. The judge looks at him and sums it all up. Mr. Jones, you had a chance to present a real defense. You could have challenged the reason for the stop. You could have argued the facts. Instead, you chose to waste this court's time with theories that have been rejected by every single court in this nation. By refusing to participate in a meaningful way, you left me no alternative. His sentence is harsher than it would have been for a simple traffic ticket. On top of the original fines, he now faces penalties for obstruction possibly, and even contempt of court. He's gambled on a fantasy, and he's lost. The story of the sovereign citizen isn't a tale of a brave underdog fighting the system. It's a cautionary tale about the allure of secret knowledge and the danger of confusing what you want the law to be with what it actually is. The legal system, with all its flaws, runs on established laws and facts that can't be wished away with magic words or internet fiction. If you found this legal breakdown insightful, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the weird and fascinating world of law. And let us know in the comments, what other legal topics you'd like to see us tackle? And if you found this video shocking, check out my next video on something that is truly shocking and unfortunately very real. The ability of the police to track you and intercept the data on your phone, in many cases without a warrant, using a device called the Stingray. I'll see you over there. And remember, arrested doesn't mean guilty.